It is the kind of weather day you would expect in the heartland in late November. All right, Mr. Siragusa, Bengal fans are itching for a win. How do they get back on track?
Tom, it's very simple. The leaders on the team need to step up. You need to take control of the team. It has nothing to do with the coaches. Players got to go out there and get it done. Guys can't wait for things to happen. They need to go out there and make things happen. Also, they can't beat themselves. The Cincinnati team defensively has had penalties. Now, I'm all about going and playing at 120% and with passion and being aggressive. But defensively, you got to know when to pull off because you can't hurt your team. Don't give the opposing team stuff that they don't earn.
All right, Tony, thank you very much. We'll be checking in all day with Tony. The Rams have won the toss, elected to receive, and Vinny Cunningham will take a knee. So the season began with Nick Foles coming over in a trade for their former quarterback, the off-injured quarterback, Sam Bradford. Had a very good first year as a starter in Philadelphia. Spent half the year injured last year. Started the first 9 games this year. And a grand total of 7 touchdown passes.
The passing game has been a major struggle for the Rams all year. But the idea of just lining up and running against Cincinnati all day long could be daunting. Let's see if they try and do something big early in the game to loosen it up.
Well, they give it to Gurley on first down, and he is bottled up after a gain of maybe 2. Carlos Dunlap, the first one there to beat him. We introduce you to the Rams on offense. They have used 9 different starting offensive linemen, and due to injuries, Charles, the 4th different combination now in the last 5 weeks.
And the left tackle, Greg Robinson, they drafted number 2 in the draft last year. They need him to start being that guy, to start being great. He gave up a key sack last week against Baltimore that helped cost them the game.
Tavon Austin, and he breaks a tackle and is able to get very close to a first down. He appears to be about a yard short, so 3rd down and 1 upcoming. The Bengals defense under Paul Gunther, very, very good.
And they get after you. And Geno Atkins, the defensive tackle, is back being Geno Atkins. Paul Gunther will throw a variety of looks at the Rams. The biggest thing he has in his arsenal is pressure. And Geno Atkins provides it inside and makes everyone around him better when they rush the quarterback.
Now the Bengals secondary is really beat up. And here on the opening series, their 9-year veteran corner Leon Hall shaken up. 3rd and a yard. They pitch it to Gurley. And snuffed out right from the start by Iloka. 3 and out for the Bengal defense.
And what a job by George Iloka, just simply trusting his eyes and going. He just goes right now when he sees the pitch. To Todd Gurley, sees it, no false steps, nothing backwards, nothing even lateral. Made a beeline for Gurley and drops him in the backfield for the first 3 and out of the game.
Adam Jones is among the best punt returners in the NFL, but he's been bothered with a tender foot, was inactive last week. So Brandon Table let it bounce in very good field position for the Bengals on this opening offensive possession. Andy Dalton, 28 years young, out of Katy, Texas. 2nd round pick out of Texas Christian. He has been the starter since day 1. Along with Joe Flacco, the only 2 quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era to lead their team to the playoffs in each of their first 4 years as a starter.
And you know what the next line is always is, right? And Joe Flacco has gone to the Super Bowl. Andy Dalton looking for his first playoff win. They know that hovers. They're trying to get there.
And here's a guy that's trying to get started. And a very good start. A gain of 15 by Jeremy Hill. He led all NFL running backs in rushing yards the last half of last year.
And this, as you noted, he's the guy they've got to get going. He's their big thumper and follows Ryan Hewitt. Look at that block there by Ryan Hewitt, number 89. But he also got great help from Kevin Zeitler, number 68. Created a nice crease. Jeremy Hill, no hesitation, stepped through it as if it were 2014.
And Hill just limped off the field after that carry. But boy, if you've got to go to a backup, they have maybe the best in all of football. After all, Giovanni Bernard is actually their leading rusher. And that is Bernard on the carry, a gain of 2. Conversely, the Bengals offensive line, this is a group that's been together now by and large for 5 years. It is a very solid.
I love their synergy, and their offensive coordinator, Hugh Jackson, puts a lot of stress on that offensive line because he trusts them. Today, they want to get A.J. Green going. They really want to get him involved early because when he is, they're more explosive.
That's Tyler Eifert, the big tight end out of Notre Dame. Inside the 35, takes a big hit out of bounds in the 32 by T.J. McDonald, and that is a Bengal first down.
That's exactly how you slow down a pass rush that these Rams have. Little screen on the outside.
Saw Tony there where he influenced Eugene Sims upfield to Tyler Eifert, then slipped by him, and just a little slip pass from Dalton to him, and then at the end of the play, T.J. McDonald with the big hit. Watch those two all day long. McDonald 25 in white versus Eifert 85 in black. That could be a key matchup.
An extra offensive lineman in there, Jake Fisher leading the way for Hill, who's back in the game. And that'll be a gain of close to 4. Rams have been very good on defense. You can't hang this season of theirs so far on the defense under Greg Williams.
In fact, you wonder how they've gone through the year without frustration boiling over because they've given them chances to win a lot of games. The offense has let them down for the most part. Aaron Donald, second year in the league, was not just in the Pro Bowl, but was an All-Pro last year and playing at that level again this season.
Yeah, most year we see the two best defensive tackles in the NFL in this game today, Donald and Geno Atkins. Completion made to the far side to Marvin Jones. Down to the 24 to bring up a 3rd and 3, and the crowd looking for a whistle. We have seen the Rams. We were there in Minnesota when Mike Zimmer blatantly called them a dirty team. Do they play to the whistle? Do they play through the whistle?
They play to the echo of the whistle. And what the crowd was reacting to was at the end of the play. Watch Marcus Roberson, 47. On the push down, he really got a shot in on the head of Marvin Jones, and that's what the crowd was reacting to. This Rams team is very aggressive, and they will attack you on the defensive side.
Timeout, Andy Dalton. Opening possession for the home team. They're inside the 25, a big 3rd down when we come back. A 3rd down and 3 for the Bengals. They're at the Rams' 24-yard line in a scoreless game in Cincinnati. Mohamed Sanu in motion. Dalton finds A.J. Green, and he's inside the 10. It's 1st and goal, Cincinnati.
How about what Hugh Jackson just put in place there? He put Mohamed Sanu in motion and drew attention to him and came back opposite with A.J. Green on a shallow cross underneath. And they got the ball right to their top receiver. They want him in the flow because of his explosion.
And normally when Cincinnati gets inside the red zone, Andy Dalton has his eyes on number 85. And that is Tyler Eifert. Wide open is A.J. Green for the touchdown. How in the world does one of the best receivers in the NFL get that wide open?
And that's exactly what Greg Williams, the defense coordinator, is asking right now. Janoris Jenkins, I'm not sure what he was thinking, other than he thought he had the short zone and had help over the top. And you saw he had 3 people that went inside on the short route underneath. Talk about 3 Rams defenders converged on 1 receiver for Cincinnati underneath, and A.J. Green waltzed into the end zone.
That's just a lack of communication by that secondary that you talked about earlier.
He's going to think that was just a lack of respect for A.J. Green. He's going to let me alone?
Well, 4 years in the NFL, 4 times to the Pro Bowl, 4 1,000-yard seasons. You would think they would find number 18. A very impressive opening possession and drive, a scoring drive for the Bengals. Andy Dalton, 4 out of 4, 43 yards, a touchdown pass to his main man, A.J. Green.
And we talked about it at the top, that getting him going early, I just felt like that was going to be a priority for Cincinnati today. And I think they were able to accomplish that on their first drive.
Cunningham again will play it out of the back of the end zone. Todd Gurley and the Rams offense went 3 and out. We try and do better when we return. Welcome back to Paul Brown Stadium. Of course, the founder, one of the legendary figures in the history of this game of football. First down, they fake it to Gurley, rolling his Foles, and incomplete on a first down throw to the tight end, Jared Cook. Injuries really piling up for the Rams. You look at their inactives, and there's some big names, especially on defense with Quinn and quarterback Tremaine Johnson.
And not seen there is the new kicker's name, which is Zach Hopper, having to be in for Greg the Leg Zerline, who has a sore groin.
Hopper spent the early part of the season in New Orleans before being released, and that one is thrown behind Kenny Britt, 3rd down and 10.
Doesn't look like Foles really has a lot of timing with his receivers right now, guys. Two passes in a row thrown behind.
You know, it's really hard to figure, Tony and Charles. I mean, this was a good quarterback. At times, a great quarterback in Philadelphia. Now coming over to the Rams, not nearly as much talent on offense as maybe he had in Philadelphia, but this has been a rough go.
He's not the same guy that I saw on film in 2013, especially in how he handles pressure in his face.
Yeah, he's second-guessing his confidence also. When you lose that, it takes a long time to get it back.
Steps into the throw, and a catch made by Cook, and that is good enough for a first down, and the Rams needed that.
Now that was the guy I saw in 2013. Watch the route coming right at you. They've got 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen, and right in the middle, he hooks up with Jared Cook, the tight end. See how he just steps in and lets that one go? Right over the top of the pressure in his face. Looked like Carlos Dunlap, 96, was there. Excellent job by Nick Foles.
They put it in the hands of Tavon Austin, former #1 pick out of West Virginia, who has done a little bit of everything this year. 7 total touchdowns, 4 receiving, 2 rushing, and 1 on a punt return.
To say that he is exciting and versatile would be a little bit of an understatement.
Yep.
Because at some point we may see him back where Todd Gurley normally lines up in the running back spot, and it's not just as a decoy. They do turn and hand it to him in that spot as well.
Austin leads the team in targets, catches, and touchdowns. With his kind of ability, less than 10 yards per catch. Short pass here, trying to do it with his feet, and he's about 2 yards short of a first down up to the 44-yard line.
Tony, what Tom's talking about with Tavon Austin not having a bigger number attached to his name with touches and yards per touch, I think a lot of that's because they don't have the other weapons outside that takes pressure off of him.
Yeah, they're right now, you know, this offense is just trying to get the ball to the outside, to the perimeter, and the great thing about Tavon is he doesn't complain. He just does whatever they ask him to do. I mean, just a great guy all around.
Bengals are going to spend a timeout. 3rd down and 1 when we come back. A pair of tight ends check in for the Rams along with Corey Harkey on this 3rd down and 1. The last time you may remember they tried to pitch it and were dropped for a loss. They're going to throw it this time. Or are they? Foles able to lunge forward, able to slip by A.J. Hawk, who's slow to get up.
This is good determination by Foles because they showed heavy run, faked it, and he came out trying to just get something into the short flat area, all covered, and look at him use his big frame to slip the tackle and get there. 6'6", 243 pounds, picks up the first down.
Jeff Fisher in his 4th year as head coach of St. Louis. 9 games under 500. They've yet to turn it around. It is a franchise that has not had a winning record since 2003. Gurley stayed with it, crosses midfield. That'll be a gain of close to 4. Marvin Lewis, on the other hand, the 2nd longest tenured head coach in the NFL with his same team behind only Bill Belichick in New England. 13 years, the winningest coach in Bengals franchise history. But of course, a number they bring up all the time, whether it's Lewis, whether it's Andy Dalton. winless in the postseason. Lewis has taken the Bengals to the playoffs 6 times, including 4 of the last 5. 5 of the last 6, rather, and 4 in a row. Gurley thrown to the mat by Geno Atkins for a 3-yard loss. Check in for the first time today for a game break with Mike Hill.
Hey, Gurley got stopped there. There's no stopping Adrian Peterson. His 4th straight game with a TD run against the Falcons. 13-play, 78-yard driving cap. 7-0 Vikings in the first. Tom, Charles, back to you.
All righty, Michael. A lot of big games as we're getting deep now into November. 9th play of the drive for the Rams, trailing 7-0. 3rd and 8, blitz coming. Foles delivered, but far short of the first down. There is a penalty flag down. Jones in coverage of Brian Quick.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 89, moving forward at the snap. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is 4th down.
Right now, anytime Jeff Fisher is coaching a football team, whether it's Tennessee or with the Rams, you always have to beware of the fake punt.
Tried one in the last
Johnny
game.
Hecker in his career is 6 out of 8 as a passer.
They tried one in the last game and were unsuccessful against Baltimore. He's 1 for 3 just this season alone on fake punt passes.
False start. Offense, number 31. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
You know, that's another trend under Jeff Fisher since he took over in St. Louis in 2012. The Rams are the most penalized team in the National Football League.
When you play aggressive defense, I think Tony alluded to it earlier, you expect to have some penalties. These guys are getting after it, and you live with those. But it's these types of penalties, pre-snap penalties, guys leaning forward on 3rd down. Those are the penalties that kill you.
And now another penalty flag. False start again.
False start. Offense, number 37. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Well, I think we were talking about.
I think the fake punt is out of it's pretty much out of Jeff Fisher's head if it was ever in it.
And the special teams coach for the Rams, that's Jim Fossil's son, John Fossil. They call him Bones, and he's an excellent special teams coach, but right now he's trying to figure out how to solve just getting the ball punted.
Yeah, he might be breaking bones when they come off the sideline. Brandon Tate will let it bounce, and a wise decision through the end zone. So the Bengals get it up to 20, leading 7-0. Oh, Charles Davis, Tony Siragusa, and Mike Pereira back in Los Angeles. Tom Brenneman in Cincinnati. Bengals lead 7-0, scoring on their opening possession, and now Andy Dalton and company get it for a 2nd time. Into the hands of A.J. Green, and read beautifully there by Janoris Jenkins. Ball comes out late. It looked like he was already down.
It wasn't a call, though.
That is a fumble. Green had the big fumble here 2 weeks ago on that final drive against Houston, and now he coughs it up inside the 25-yard line.
And the line judge, Julian Mapp, was on the play and never made a signal like he was down, and the ball was, he was already down before the ball came out. But they're going to have to look at this.
Down by contact. 2nd down.
Yeah, someone else came from the other side. Julian Mapp, the line judge, signaled the ball was going in the other direction.
I think his elbow hits too, right?
Yeah, he did, Tony. It did. And that's why I was going to say they were going to have to look at it. But he got some help from his fellow officials. They came from the other side. He said, no. He was already down. See the elbow right there, and then the ball comes free from there. Got to be a relief for A.J. Green, huh?
Ends up a gain of a yard. And back out of the I formation into the hands of Jeremy Hill. And he's up to the 25, 3rd and 5 coming up. Coming your way in January, the celebration begins. A farewell year of American Idol. Show that made so many superstars trying to find one more. The farewell season, premiering Wednesday, January the 6th, only on Fox. Maybe Tony Siragusa with that pork pie hat will be on American Idol.
Why not?
It's a good-looking hat down there, T.
I appreciate that, Tom.
You bought that here in your playing days.
Yeah, back in '94.
Dalton. Nearly an unbelievable reception made by Eifert. But it came out of there after he took a hit. 3 and out this time for the Bengals.
Great throw by Dalton, too.
There's Eifert isolated. Notice they use him split out as if he were a wide receiver. And the cornerback Roberson jumped the route early and was fortunate that Eifert wasn't able to pull this in. And as he tried to get the ball, it was popped free late by his second hit.
Kevin Huber grew up right here in Cincinnati. He is a Bengals punter. Angling over on the sideline as Austin comes to the opposite side of the field. There's a block. Crowd wanting a flag, not one thrown. And now one is thrown.
These are the penalties that I talked about in the open. The guy's out of bounds and you hit him. You can't do this kind of stuff. You have to make the other team earn what they get.
During the return, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, they had 10 penalties for over 100 yards in that 3-point loss in Arizona Sunday night. It looked like Sean Williams. Yep.
Clearly out of bounds.
You know, you're just helping the other team. Listen, I'm all about aggressive, physical play, but in situations like that, you got to be smart enough as a player to know that that's going to hurt your team. Now they're in better field position. I mean, you can't go and give those away. That's how they lost the game last week, guys.
That was an amazing game, really, in Arizona. You know, all the injuries in the Bengals secondary, they completely shut down Carson Palmer and Arizona in the first half. But by that time, attrition had hit the secondary. They had a number of backups in the game, and Palmer is a very good quarterback. Threw for 171 yards and 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter alone. There's Geno Atkins again. Boy, is he playing. Many feel he's the best defensive tackle in the NFL, coming all the way back from that knee injury, and he is having a monster season.
And Tony, this is where they're going to have trouble all day long running the football, because you've got a retooled offensive line with 2 guards in Rainey and Wickman, who have not played a lot of football, dealing with Geno Atkins and Domata Peko inside. That seems to be a mismatch for Cincinnati.
I brought up earlier this Rams offensive line, many of them just introducing themselves to one another. Trey Mason out of the backfield, a catch back to the original line of scrimmage after the loss. So it'll bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 9.
I don't think they'll be running the ball on this 3rd and 9, but as the game goes on, let's see if the Rams try and get to the perimeter more with Gurley, because trying to block Atkins, trying to block Peko with those young, inexperienced offensive guards, I'm not sure they'll be able to do that. They may want to get to the perimeter a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Get it outside.
Bengals defensively, 28 sacks on the year. They're in the top 10 in the league. And beautifully defended by the former #1 pick out of Alabama, Trey Kirkpatrick. So after getting great field position, the Rams can't do anything with it.
And he's with Kenny Britt, the veteran receiver, tries to get inside on the slant. And Kirkpatrick undercuts the route a little bit. And look at that arm, just gets it in there and hauls him down and knocks it away. Well played by Kirkpatrick.
End over end punt by Hecker. And Tate the fair catch at the 11. You know, look, the Bengals even admitted it. The playoff thing is like an elephant in the room. Look at those numbers in the career of Andy Dalton. But then you get to the playoffs. 0-4, You know, in each of their 4 losses, they have been within 1 score at halftime. 1 score. In the second half of their playoff losses, the offense has not scored a single touchdown, not one, in 4 games of the second half. The defense has not taken the ball away 1 time in 4 games of the second half. So it's not only on Andy Dalton.
And I like how you got the second part in. We'll address that after this play.
First down. Looked like that ball may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. But Dalton is a guy that bears the brunt of all of it. This year they had the Major League Baseball All-Star game in Cincinnati. 2 days before they had a big celebrity softball game. Musicians, actors, comedians, athletes. Dalton was introduced. And it was a small contingent, but a contingent nonetheless, that booed their hometown quarterback.
On All-Star weekend in a softball game.
Nowhere to run on second down for Giovanni Bernard. 3rd down and 10 coming up. And again, we check in back in L.A. with Mike Hill.
Texans putting it on the Saints early. Brian Hoyer, little 3-yard toss to Cecil Shorts the third, making it 14-0 Texans. Saints fire Rob Ryan, and defense still having its issues. Tom, Charles, back to you guys.
Now, the Texans team is making a strong run in the AFC South. We had given it to the Colts. And let me tell you something, that thing is far from over.
They gave the Bengals their first loss of the season here 2 weeks ago. Bernard cutting it back to the inside. Flag down. And we wait on the penalty.
But we just saw the best of what St. Louis does on defense, and that's run to the ball. I mean, they pursued like crazy on a screen pass. It looked like it had a chance. Then a lot of white shirts showed up and finished off the play. Really good defensive series for St. Louis.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 68. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
That was a nice play made by Mark Barron right there.
It really was, and he's moved to outside linebacker. Still wants to be called a weak safety. He doesn't want outside linebacker in his title, but he's playing outside linebacker. He evades blocks, runs down plays, and makes big plays for them on defense. And right now, St. Louis is helping themselves out, helping their offense by helping to flip field position with that series.
Huber blasts this one, and there's a penalty flag down. Bengals might get the football back. We'll wait and see. Austin still on his feet. Breaking tackle, still on his feet. Man, is he hard to handle. Oh, we wait on the penalty all the way back where Huber put his left foot on it.
Running into the kicker. Receiving team, number 34. That's a 5-yard penalty, which results in a first down.
Chase Reynolds, who is one of their special teams aces. And let's say he's got to be able to get the second foot down. That's why it's a roughing the kicker call, and that's why he's down there. But guys, that's why you're 4-6. Those types of plays, your defense just had a terrific stand, got the ball for you, decent field position. You run into the kicker with an offense that's struggling. You got to keep giving them chances.
The little things that make the biggest difference, right, Charles?
Well, you're not lying.
92. Yes,
Now the Bengals leading 7-0. Get it back. Bernard spins out of 1 tackle. Lunges forward across the 25. That'll be a gain of 4 on first down for Giovanni Bernard.
And this defense, guys, has played well all year long, save, I would say, the Chicago game a couple weeks ago. That was a game they kind of had to break down, gave up the big plays. But all year long, this defense has given them opportunities to win games.
No.
Should be the final play of the quarter. Down the middle. And the reception is made up to the 47-yard line. A rare reception for Ryan Hewitt. But, man, is he a big part of this offense in more ways than this.
He can play a multitude of positions. Fullback, tight end, H-back. And when you doubt his hands, he caught 10 passes last year. That's his 4th catch this year. He does it all for a very versatile Cincinnati offense.
Bengals getting the penalty and getting the football back after the Rams defense had forced a 3-and-out. And a big 22-yard completion to Ryan Hewitt has Dalton and the Bengals at their own 47. Catch made by Mohamed Sanu. Sanu and Marvin Jones, Charles, talk about them. You know, A.J. Green gets all the pub, but there are flashes of greatness in each of these guys, which is not turned into necessarily consistency.
And that's what they're looking for, because Sanu can give you a little bit of everything, and Marvin Jones has blazing speed. He can take the top off the defense downfield and open up even more passing lanes, and they should continue to get opportunities because teams are going to game plan for A.J. Green and Tyler Eifert.
Giovanni Bernard nowhere to go. He may have lost a yard. It brings up 3rd down and 3.
Not seeing much of Jeremy Hill lately. Remember, he limped off after his first carry. He did come back again, but we haven't seen much of him since. Want to see if that trend continues. See if there's an injury that's keeping him from playing, because they need to get that big thumper going.
Well, he's a rookie 2nd-round pick a year ago. Really did not become a starter until about midway through the year, and then led the NFL in rushing over the final 8 weeks of the season. Dalton rolling on a 3rd down. And is it enough for a 1st down? Needed to get to the 43-yard line. Eifert the catch. I mean, that's right on the nose.
How about Andy Dalton, able to do anything you want in the pocket right now? It's not just straight drop with him. They gave him a little short sprint pass on that one. He can have roll, drop roll, you name it. They're doing a little bit of everything with it. I've been getting a kick out of the idea that Andy Dalton, people have discovered his mobility. You're hearing that a lot lately. Oh, Andy Dalton, look at the mobility. I said, Andy, you know, I thought I saw you run in college. He said, I did run for 1,500 yards there, so I'm not sure where they missed it.
He knew that number right away.
That's great.
He knew that number right away. Well, here he goes now. Here's some of that mobility. And he ducks underneath what could have been a wicked hit from Akeem Ayers down to the 38-yard line.
Yeah, there's been so much talk in recent weeks, Tony, about Andy Dalton. Boy, he's mobile. He can move around. I was like, the guy ran zone read in college. This is not new stuff.
They didn't find it yesterday. Like, oh, hey, I can run. No, he's had it all the time.
Hey, his numbers, and we gave them to you earlier, as a starting quarterback are just mind-boggling as far as winning football games. The double reverse, they put it in the hands of Marvin Jones, and there's that speed, Charles Davis. Inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal, Bengals.
What a great misdirection play right there. And great blocking on the edges. Woo.
And Andy Dalton actually became a lead blocker. Watch him, but he doesn't have to block anyone because it comes back the other way. Bernard to Marvin Jones. Look at Andy. He's going to get involved, but he didn't have to because Marvin Jones just leaves him behind. But look downfield. Did you see Kevin Zeitler, 68? And look out on the corner. There's Mohamed Sanu, number 12. But look downfield, sprinting. 68 was Zeitler, 77 Whitworth, the offensive lineman. Hugh Jackson, another exotic play.
30-yard carry for Sanu, and this is Bernard into the middle of the pile, and he's down to the 6. Talked about Tyler Eifert. This is where they generally find him. A.J. Green has a game's only touchdown. But look at these numbers right here for Eifert. When they get in the red zone, close to hitting the lottery there.
The big number right there, 11 touchdowns. I mean, you're talking about finding, and the thing they can do is they can put him anywhere. Whether he's in the slot, whether he's on the backside of a formation, you name it, you got to account for Tyler Eifert. And that's Ryan Hewitt there, 89.
They give it to Bernard. He's to the 3-yard line, 3rd down and goal. Laurinaitis, who played his collegiate football up the road in Columbus at Ohio State, in on the tackle.
And Cincinnati's going to bring out Jake Fisher, number 74, to go with a heavier package. Also Tyler Croft, number 81. That doesn't mean necessarily that they run the football. They will show you heavy run looks and still throw the ball. And Jake Fisher, number 74, who plays tackle, has a catch on the season. He's all the way at the left side at the top there.
For 31 yards.
And Andy Dalton gave him grief because he didn't break a tackle and get all the way to the end zone.
Well, the Bengals already using their final timeout of this opening half. And we still have 10+ minutes to go in the second quarter. And, you know, we're getting a look on this drive, and we've had a look already on this drive and early in this game, Charles Davis. And there are so many weapons on this Bengals offense. You know, they lost the game last week in Arizona. They still scored 31 against a very good Arizona defense, and they basically had 0 yards of offense in 1 quarter of the game.
Just tells you how explosive they are. We've talked about the versatility, the number of players who can touch the ball and make big plays. Consistency is what they're looking for. Being able to not have that 1 quarter where nothing really goes right for them. And then when it flipped around on defense, you mentioned it earlier, Tom, the 3rd quarter. The defense really had to struggle, and Carson Palmer took full advantage of it. But Marvin Lewis, you know, he wasn't panicking about, you know, okay, we've lost 2 in a row. I know the sky's falling for everyone else. This is a day where they have a chance to get right, and they need to. Because if so, this team can compete and play with any team in the league.
Guys, you see this field right now, how many different changes the offense made, the defense made. These guys are going to be tired before the plays even run.
Tony, it's a lot like hockey line shifts.
Unbelievable.
You know, people go over the wall. Here it goes. Change them up.
St. Louis. It's their first charge timeout.
I think Jeff Fisher might be
timeout.
arguing about personnel coming on, coming off the field, Tony, that you just alluded to a moment ago there. Of course, Fisher is on the competition committee. So is Marvin Lewis.
And what Jeff is probably talking about is you have to have the opportunity to match if the offense makes changes on defense. And Jeff is a defensive coach first.
There's the guys running on and off.
Tony, this is what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So these are defensive changes first. So, okay, all right, personnel. See, they're waiting up there to see. And now they see the personnel come in here. And now they start to run guys back this way.
Yeah, they went from base to nickel to dime, back to nickel and back to base. It was like, you should have seen the signals coming from the sideline. It was like romper room.
And what I think,
man.
And Tony, what I think Jeff is saying is, when they make those substitutions, we have to have enough time to match with our defense.
Well, he has the officials over there in the huddle, and he's explaining the rules that he probably changed to them right now.
From the is he quoting the competition committee minutes?
Exactly.
Tony, I don't know if I've ever been part of a telecast where romper room came into the equation, but we're all better off for it.
Well, you know, Tom,
I
don't even know what's going to come out sometimes. I mean, it's just these words. It just
We've learned that
right
now
there.
in about 11 weeks.
Right. There we go.
All right, they're in the I formation. Jeremy Hill back in there.
18! That's up!
But like you said, Charles, that doesn't mean they're going to run it. Flag down, back to the end zone, and the pass is no. They're saying incomplete. Darren Bates looked like he had an interception.
Fantastic coverage.
Guys, I was right here. He looked like he was into me.
They got to take a look at that, because that was fantastic coverage by Darren Bates. They showed the run-heavy formation again, and they weren't fooled, and Darren Bates drops into coverage. Remember, he's a backup linebacker. So watch Bates right there. 53, see him move back, and look who they were trying to get the ball to. Jake Fisher, the left tackle, who reports ineligible in these heavy packages on the goal
field
line.
is an incomplete pass.
That was a great
Holding.
call.
Offense, number 68. That penalty is declined. The result is 4th down.
And the reason it's incomplete, you saw his left foot come down out of bounds, hitting the white.
The holding was on 65.
On the interception.
Now, some might say, is Hugh Jackson getting a little too cute down here? It's 3rd down and goal from the 3-yard line, and you're throwing to a backup offensive tackle.
I think part of that is Jeremy Hill's not in the ballgame. You know, you don't have your thumper. And Giovanni Bernard is not a super inside power runner. Sometimes you have to work around, the limitations of your offensive personnel.
21-yard field goal attempt. Mike Nugent grew up just up the road outside of Dayton, Ohio in Centerville. And he nails the field goal. Ah, yes. The Big O still calls Cincinnati home. Boy, was he something. The Rams defense, you may remember it, forced a 3-and-out on that offensive possession by the Bengals, but they run into the punter. The Bengals have 10 more plays on the drive, and they add 3 points to their lead.
And you had asked about what they were doing. Did they get too cute? And I said, hey, Jeremy Hill hasn't been in the game. I was incorrect. He was in on that series, on that 3rd down call. Hadn't been in the game much here in the first half. So I think they were showing heavy run, big-time Jeremy Hill back there and tried to fool him, and the Rams were not fooled.
Third straight time Nugent has hit one through the back of the end zone. 10-10 to go, 10-0. Bengals in front.
Difficult to run the ball inside when Geno Atkins is playing defensive tackle in the form he's playing. He is back to the Geno Atkins who was the all-pro Pro Bowler. Tony, what do you see here?
Well, right here, he's reading exactly what the Rams are doing. Watch how he keeps his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Never turns them, is able to go to his left or to his right, reads it. The great thing about it is after he goes and he has the runner, he wraps up and he makes the tackle. He secures the tackle inside. I'll tell you what, he's a beast to be reckoned with.
Three-time Pro Bowler, had the devastating knee injury a year and a half ago. Played all of last year, but wasn't the same player. And Paul Gunther, the defensive coordinator, really laid it on the line. He said, we need Geno Atkins to be Geno Atkins again.
Yeah, he called him out. And most coaches are not going to call out their Pro Bowl players. But he said, hey, he's not the guy that he used to be. Geno hurt him, lost weight in the offseason. Another year of getting the knee back in form. And boy, has he been in absolute terror from day one this year.
We're now out of the Wildcat formation. That is Curley, who hands it off to Tavon Austin. And Austin off to the races inside the 45, the 40, the 30, down to the 20, the 15, and finally run out of bounds. First big offensive strike of the game for St. Louis.
And you know that you have eyes on him. There's Gurley there in the Wildcat, and he hands it to him. But look at the block right there. It's an excellent block by number 89, Jared Cook. And then look at Kenny Britt, 18, stay with it. Downfield, and Austin used him so well. Britt didn't have any knockdown type of a block, but stayed in front, and Austin just kind of maneuvered behind him all the way downfield.
That is a 60-yard run for Tavon Austin. Gurley inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line. Let's send it back for a game break to Los Angeles.
And look out for the Washington Redskins. 63 yards on the touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins to Deshaun Jackson. They're up 10-0 on the Giants. And if they win this game, both teams will be 5-6 and tied for first place in the NFC East. Tom, Charles, and Tony.
We saw the Redskins get demolished by Carolina last week. I'm not sure any of those teams can beat anybody else except inside their own division.
And at home for Washington, 4-1 at home coming into today.
Tavon Austin will find the end zone. So Austin caps it off. He had the 60-yard run to get him down there. And now Austin with his third rushing touchdown of the year, and the Rams right back in it.
I think that first big run really stunned the Cincinnati defense because they come back with Austin again. And look at this. Nice arc block by Jared Cook, number 89, meaning he just released from the line of scrimmage, moved downfield, and there is no one else even close to Tavon Austin. He just got in front of Drake Kirkpatrick. A big touchdown by the St. Louis Rams. And number 11, Tavon Austin, responsible for the bulk of it.
So now their brand new field goal kicker will come on and try and knock it through, and it is good. So a 10-7 game. The Rams getting it done on two big runs from Austin. Outstunned here in Cincinnati after that 60-yard run by Austin. Then he caps it off with a short touchdown run. 4 plays, 80 yards. And the Rams within 3. Bengals getting the football. They're out of timeouts. 8:29 to play until halftime. And this drive will begin at the 20.
And when you game plan for the St. Louis Rams offense, you game plan for Tavon Austin, number 11, and Todd Gurley, number 30. And on the first play, Tony, they both touched the ball, and it turned into a 60-yard run by Austin.
Yeah, when Tavon comes across the formation and that motion right there. He's got so much speed. He's not starting from a stop position. It makes it so hard for the defensive ends and the linebackers to establish an edge. He goes and actually gives up ground, but he's got so much speed to turn the corner. That's where he's effective, and they got to find a way to go and stop that if they want to win this game.
Tavon Austin, 81 yards. The rest of his team's 40. He and Todd Gurley accounted for almost 50% of the total yards of St. Louis coming into the game.
Andy Dalton to throw it on first down and looking for the home run ball to A.J. Green. That one never had a chance.
And just remember, guys, it's a 10-7 game, and what's the difference in this one? The roughing the punter call. They gave the ball back to Cincinnati. That turned into 3 points. There's your difference in the score of the game right now.
Guys, quick heads up. Number 37, Chris Harris. They brought him into the locker room. He is doubtful with ribs.
So Chris Harris-Lewis is a backup cornerback. Excuse me, Chris Lewis-Harris is a backup cornerback for Cincinnati.
This time they connect with A.J. Green, very close to a first down. Looks like he got there right at the 30-yard line. Well, that could be a big story moving forward in this game because the Bengals secondary is really beat up. They lost a #1 pick out of Michigan State, Darquez Dennard, last week in Arizona. Kirkpatrick's already nicked up, so is Adam Jones. Leon Hall was limping around already in the game today. And we brought up earlier the third quarter when all those guys started going down is when Carson Palmer really loaded up. 171 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter. The other 3 quarters, the Bengals completely shut Arizona down.
But that quarter was significant. I mean, what they did was just, it was almost a blitzkrieg in that time frame. And they really jumped up, went from down 14-7 and made it a 2-touchdown advantage for them during that third quarter. And both of these teams here today, tough sledding, running the ball inside against these defenses. Remember the Rams, their defensive front, all former first-round draft choices when they're fully healthy. Robert Quinn not playing today.
Second down, good protection here. Now Dalton flushed out of the pocket, lays it off for Jeremy Hill. And Hill, good, powerful running up to the 45 and a first down.
It's a great balance by him, huh?
It was, and that was part of that was Janoris Jenkins understanding size at 5'10", 198, not wanting to take the big guy at 235 up high. Tried to get him down low and clipped his leg, but didn't get enough of him, and Jeremy Hill continued forward and picked up a first down.
The expectations for Hill coming into the year were huge. Rookie out of LSU last year. Breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet. And up to the 47-yard line. We mentioned he didn't become a starter until about midway through the year. He wound up rushing for a Bengal rookie record, 1,124 yards, 8th most in the NFL. He has not had a game of higher than 63 yards so far this season.
And one of the things that Hugh Jackson, the offensive coordinator, talked about was the ability to break tackles or make people miss. And that's what he's looking for more of from Jeremy Hill.
They'll give it to him again. That's the Jeremy Hill that Bengal fans saw a season ago. All the way down to the 41, a gain of 12 for Hill.
And boy, was this blocked up well. Okay, watch these guys do their work. You talk about synchronized. And look at this, bam, stop right there. Look at that. And then they cut right through and get through it. Excellent job.
Hewitt getting locked up there with Laurinaitis, springing Hill, who gets it again. Inside the 40, down to the 38, second down and 7 for the Bengals.
But how well was that play blocked up for Jeremy Hill, though? I mean, that allows you to get some momentum going. And when number 32 gets momentum going, now you've got it. But this group up front, their ability to understand each other better, unlike what St. Louis is doing today, where guys have moved around to different spots and have to communicate more, there's a big difference when the guy next to you, when you know exactly what the guy next to you is going to do on every snap. And that's what they have here in Cincinnati.
Short drop, quick throw. A.J. Green beat Janoris Jenkins, and that's another first down to the 31-yard line.
And this offensive line reminds me of, and I'm going to go back to the 1970s. You ready?
Yep.
The St. Louis Cardinals 1970s offensive line. They did an article on them, and they talked about how those guys were so in sync that unconsciously they did everything in position. Walked in position, ate in position, met the Cincinnati Bengals line. They did scoring on them. The exact same thing happened with these guys.
Marvin Jones will be run out of bounds at the 23-yard line. That'll be a gain of close to 8 on first down.
That's how all the offensive lines are there, Charles.
You know,
the ones that I played with, you know, you go out to eat with them. The center always sits in the middle.
Right.
Left guard's always on the left. The right guard's always on the right. You know, then you go out with the defensive linemen, then they're not even at the same restaurant.
No.
They call each other. Hey, listen, where are you at? I'm getting a steak. I'm getting a pizza. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. So they're the, you know, the guys who, you know, have no consistency. They're always, you know, doing their own thing. But the offensive line are always consistent, even in meeting rooms and everything. It's a pretty funny
and it's
routines that they have.
And it's unconscious too. Yeah. It just happens.
Second down and a yard. And Eifert with his NFL-leading 12th touchdown of the season. "22 yards, Dalton Eifert."
Now watch Andy Dalton in the pocket. He looks to the opposite side and then comes back to the side he wants, which is the side with Tyler Eifert. Tremendous job of quarterbacking. Eifert in the seam. They used Hewitt 89 to hold the corner up front to make sure he didn't drop into the zone. But a terrific job by Andy Dalton of manipulating the secondary with his eyes in his head one way, coming back the other, and putting it right on Tyler Eifert.
Eifert had the 3 drops in the first loss of the year here against Houston. He came out after the game and said, "I was simply terrible." Said, "You can blame that game on me." Well, he's been pretty good up till that game and getting on a roll again. The Bengals have never had a player lead the NFL in touchdown receptions. A franchise record is Carl Pickens. He's from your alma mater, if I remember correctly, Mr. Davis.
That would be the University of Tennessee, one of the great players that ever played there. You know, Carl started at free safety.
Really?
Before he became a big-time receiver. They were hurting on defense. They put him over there. He led team in interceptions.
Pretty good move, though, him winding up at wide receiver.
Wasn't anything Carl Pickens couldn't do.
And a good return here by Cunningham up to the 28-yard line. Of course, the Bengals starting the year 8-0. So too did New England. New England still unbeaten. And Carolina winning on Thanksgiving. The Bengals actually hold a tiebreaker over Denver. They have a better record inside the AFC at 7-1. Denver at 4-2. So they would love to get a first-round bye and then get a home game in the divisional playoffs.
And we have the Patriots and Broncos playing tonight. And if Cincinnati can win today, they're hoping to get some help from New England against Denver in Denver tonight. We'll see.
Leon Hall, the veteran, could not have played that any better. Hall has been a solid player for a long time. 9th year, #1 pick in 2007. It's funny, almost all of these Bengals, in fact, more than any other team in the NFL, they have more players on their team that started their careers with Cincinnati than any team in the NFL.
43 of them on a roster of 53.
That's incredible.
Especially in this day and age of free agency.
Wildcat, this time they fake it to Austin. Gurley will take it up to the 30. That'll bring up 3rd down and 8. Well, they're heartbroken here in the Buckeye State, but they're fired up in Iowa and at Michigan State. They will play for the Big Ten championship and certainly a berth in the college football playoff. Saturday, 7 Eastern, right here on Fox. You've been calling that game for a number of years, Mr. Davis.
Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a game, and our crew is going to do a fantastic job. Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt and Molly McGrath. But it's going to be an old-school football game, folks. They're going to run it, and they're going to play defense. It could be like a well-pitched baseball game. It could go in about 2 hours.
You're right. We're down to a 2-minute warning and a 3rd down upcoming when we return. Well, we invite you to get apps, video, and more at iTunes.com/NFL. 2-minute warning. Rams facing a third down. We'll call it 8 from their own 30. Pressure coming, and down goes Foles. And that's Carlos Dunlap. 9.5 sacks for Dunlap, third most in the NFL. But there is a flag down. And this may go against the Bengals.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 27. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Wow.
Let's take a look at Dre Kirkpatrick right here at the top. Let's see. Looks like he's matched up with Tavon Austin. He's got hands on him early, and Austin goes down. I thought I saw a hand towards the face mask as well. You know, so I know people think that Austin just kind of dropped there, but I think they could have gotten him from one of two things.
We'll see if the Rams can take advantage, as the Bengals did earlier, of a big penalty. Foles in trouble. Throws and a sliding reception that is good for Bradley Marquez. And the Rams in hurry-up mode.
Marquez really starting to come on. That's 4 straight games now he has a catch. Made the team as an undrafted free agent off of his special teams play. And here comes Marquez now. Played at Texas Tech, where he caught a lot of footballs in that high-octane air raid type offense. Now he's starting to make his mark as a receiver in the NFL as well.
Foles just does give it away, and that is Kenny Britt. And he'll run out of bounds right at the 40-yard line. And the clock will stop with 1:29 to go, and the Rams on the move.
And give some credit to this offensive line of the Rams here. They just gave up a sack, but they gave Nick Foles enough time, and that's a long route for Kenny Britt. He really backed off Adam Jones, number 24, and created a bunch of separation.
Yeah, huge cushion. And Adam Jones looked like he was limping a little bit. I don't know how healthy he is right now.
No, yeah, I don't think he is. I think he's out there trying to play through this.
Yeah.
He was inactive in Arizona on Sunday night with a foot injury, and as you mentioned, Tony, limping there a moment ago. And they're going after Jones, who fell down. Ray on the tackle. Catch by Quick down to the 37-yard line.
That's good coaching by the offensive staff of St. Louis. They notice a guy who's having some issues, maybe giving up too much cushion. Let's see if they continue to attack in that area.
Foles going that way, and incomplete. 1:05 away from halftime, and what's coming up, Mr. Menifee?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, this wild bunch and I will have highlights of all the early games for you, including Alex Smith and the Chiefs trying to win their 5th straight game. And then, is that Glazer? What's going on? Find out at halftime.
Ah, boy, the Fox bunch. How about that? And you know who's on the field now? That's Wes Welker. A third down specialist. Let's see if he can pay it off for St. Louis here.
Yeah, they brought him in a week ago, and they do the quick hit again, picking on Adam Jones, who has been the best Bengal defender in the secondary this entire year, but clearly playing at less than 100%. 14-yard gain.
And you know this game is Darwinian. Survival of the fittest when you're out there, and if he can't cover, they'll keep going there.
Foles to the middle of the field, and it is intercepted by Reggie Nelson. Nelson having a big-time year, still on his feet. That is his 6th interception of this season, most in the NFL.
They had so much success going at Adam Jones. Didn't go there here on this one, but the play was made by George Iloka, number 43. Jared Cook was well covered. And look at Reggie Nelson cradling the ball, gets the arms underneath off of the tip. And defensive backs work on this all the time. Ball tipped in the air. Can the next guy come and get it? That's exactly what they did. They work on that in practice incessantly. But George Iloka, number 43, the safety, used his length and coverage ability to tip the ball away, and Reggie Nelson capitalized.
Nelson, a guy you saw a lot of in college, Charles. You know, he initially came out and went to Jacksonville, and that has been a really savvy pickup for the Bengals organization.
I believe that's his 21st interception as a Cincinnati Bengal and his 28th in his career.
So the Rams were on the move. But Foles throws his 7th interception of the year. He has still only thrown 1 touchdown pass in his last 148 passing attempts. 17-7. Let's go to Los Angeles for the Visa halftime. Great to have you with us here on this Sunday, late November. And of course, when the calendar turns to December, we really start talking about playoff football teams. And you know, the Rams, we thought when we saw them going into Minnesota to begin this month, 1 game over 500, they were in the hunt. You know, I guess technically they're still in the hunt right now, but little things, Charles, we've seen running into the punter, things like that. To have any chance against the Bengals, that just can't happen.
That can't happen, and bottom line is they're not getting the play they need from the quarterback position consistently. They just had a terrific drive that culminated, unfortunately, with Nick Foles throwing an interception right before the half. You didn't even get a chance to put 3 points on the board. So that's where they're hurt. Inaccuracy, throwing the football, has really hurt this team because it allows people to load up on Todd Gurley running it and Tavon Austin running jet sweeps.
Let's check in downstairs with Tony.
It's funny you say that, Charles. You know, talking to Marvin Lewis, a couple of things he wants to get done in the second half. He said, we've got to come out running the ball. We got to go and eat this clock up. We got to come out and establish the run once again. We got to play better here in the second half. We have to keep leverage on Tavon. When we talked about with the defensive end on the edge, Tavon has so much speed on that corner. What he's going to do is going to bump out his defensive line when they get a certain call to go and try and take care of that and just keep playing hungry on defense. He's really happy the way his defense is playing. And, you know, talking to Jeff Fisher, he really, was harping on we need to get the possession back that we lost with that penalty on that punt.
Well, that was a big one because it was only a 7-0 game at the time. The Bengals were punting out of their own, basically out of their own end zone. Bengals wound up getting a field goal on that possession and later would give the touchdown to Tyler Eifert, an NFL best 12 so far on the year.
And he just comes at you from so many different positions and can do other things. He has really improved as a blocker, becoming a multi-dimensional tight end. Not just a guy who can flex out and catch passes. He's a more than willing blocker now, and we saw that in the run game. 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. Tom already talked about it. The 12th touchdown this season. He leads the NFL. And he is playing awfully well for them now.
Well, you look inside the numbers. Andy Dalton goes 14 of 18, 145 passing yards and a pair of touchdowns. You know, were it not for the 60-yard run by Austin, there wouldn't be much to talk about at all for the Rams on offense. But, of course, Rams fans have become quite familiar with that song.
And it's very unfortunate for them because they do a number of things that are good, a number of things that are actually exciting. Gurley and Austin are a great base to run an offense from, but they have to be able to pay it off. They have to be able to be accurate throwing the ball to other people. That hasn't happened so well for them this year. And defensively, they can play with anyone in the league. That defense is as good as there is out there.
No doubt about it. Locker puts a foot on it, and Brandon Tate will take a knee. Bengal ball the 20-yard line. We started to see from the Bengals, and they have been hoping to get Jeremy Hill cranked up all year long. It just has not been there. Giovanni Bernard is their leading rusher overall this season. But Hill ran the ball 7 times, 39 yards in the first half. That's almost 6 yards a carry.
Came into the ball game averaging 3.3 yards a carry. Last year, he was over 5 yards a carry. This first half was more Jeremy Hill. The Jeremy Hill they were used to seeing.
Hill will get it to begin the second half, and Aaron Donald right there to meet him, and still on his feet is Hill. for a gain of close to 3.
You know, Tom, you said something that really stuck out in my mind there in the first half about this Cincinnati team in the second half of the postseason didn't score any touchdowns. This is the time, this is an important drive for them. This is where you need to go and fix those things. You don't wait to the postseason and, oh, we got to score in the second half. You got to do it in the regular season and treat it like a playoff game, especially against a great defense like this St. Louis team has.
Back-to-back runs for Hill. Runs into Laurinaitis, and he's up to the 20, close to the 28-yard line, which will be 3rd down and 2.
And that was in the second half of those playoff games, Tony, where nothing was going right for them. You know, Andy Dalton's borne the brunt of the criticism, the frustration from people.
Yep.
But I love that Tom brought that out. Look, it wasn't just the not scoring. Defensively, they were struggling in the second half of those games as well. And Marvin Lewis has said it's all about all of us in solving that playoff issue.
3rd down, they give it to Giovanni Bernard, and he has a 1st down up to the 31-yard line. I tell you, of all the running backs in the NFL, we know there are a lot of great ones. I'm not sure there's a better all-around back. Now, look, he can't run with the Adrian Petersons,
right,
the Todd Gurleys of the world. But, man, when you bring in his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and turn in big plays, he is a dynamic force.
And he was hurt a lot last year, which hurt his production. Now you're seeing the full Giovanni Bernard, as well as we're starting to get the full Jeremy Hill again.
It's a gain of 8 on 1st down for Hill.
And a lot of it is very simple. If his feet do not have to get stopped in the backfield, meaning that the Rams are not getting penetration upfield with the defensive front, and he just gets to go forward, then you get to see him. On the runs where he's struggling, that penetration's happening by the Rams' defensive front, stopping his feet in the background, and he can't get any momentum.
Hill again, and finds a little sliver and goes right through it for a 1st down at the 43. You know, Marvin Lewis said something that, you know, oftentimes sitting up here in the booth or Tony down there in the field, and certainly fans, I mean, we always know more than the head coach, right?
Especially with 20/20 hindsight.
But Marvin said something the other day which I just found fascinating. He said, you know, the first game of the year we're out in Oakland. Jeremy Hill, who's a between the tackles kind of a runner, he broke one to the outside and ran for a touchdown. Throw down the sideline is intercepted. Dalton throwing that one without fully setting his feet. And Janoris Jenkins waiting on that throw from Dalton, and a takeaway for the Rams defense.
Really good ball skills by Janoris Jenkins. Cut off the angle and gets the big interception for the Rams defense.
Well, the Bengals begin this first possession of the second half. Run, 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 run. And the one time they put it in the air, it's an interception.
Yeah, 3, 5, 3, 8, and 5 were the yardage gains on those runs.
Pitch it to Gurley. Well, the Bengals have just had his number all day today so far.
Great job by them staying home on the misdirection. Now look at this. This is the all-22 view. Watch everyone run their routes, but watch what we saw. Andy Dalton, he gets out, but look at this. That's all open space, Tony. And I talked earlier in the game about his ability to run the football. I thought he should have used his legs there and just ran and picked up the yardage.
Absolutely. You got to listen. You're up by 10 points. You got to protect your lead. You can't go and make mistakes like this coming out of the halftime.
Look at Tavon Austin. This guy is just an incredible athlete. Somehow, some way, he went from one side of the field to the other side of the field and got a gain of 7.
Shouldn't we have awarded him 70 yards on this one? Because he may have covered that in what he did in getting loose. 1 miss, 2 misses, 3 misses.
He could have 300 yards east and west, right?
Yes. But look at that. Malaluga missed him first, and then his vision and cutback and elusiveness. A tremendous 7-yard gain.
So a 3rd down and 2, they fake it and then dump it off to Harkey. And that appears to be enough. Did he fumble the ball?
I think they're saying he was down.
Looks like enough for a 1st down by about a foot.
The big man they call Hercules for his ability to block. Leon Hall blocks him down. And as he goes, yes, he was definitely down before the ball came free.
And again, Leon Hall leaving, shaken up.
That's a lot of man he's just trying to take down.
You're not lying.
Yeah, he hit him right in the hip, too.
That hurts.
At 6'4", 259 pounds. Under pressure and dropped is Foles by Geno Atkins.
Unbelievable pass rush and vision by Geno Atkins on this play. Little play action. He's right in the middle. Reads it's a pass and just keeps coming with his penetration. Watch him right in the middle. Plays the run, recognizes a pass, and just gets upfield as quick as he can, and then solidifies the tackle. That's not easy, guys.
Tony, that was the second reaction, wasn't it? Because he rushed first, and it looked like they had him stalemated, and then he made the second move and got home.
That's being persistent. That's what you have to do to get sacks in this league.
Across the middle, and that is Cook. And he's wrestled down to the 34-yard line. Will bring up 3rd down and a long 9.
And Paul Gunther, the defensive coordinator of Cincinnati, he can be exotic too. We talk about it with Hugh Jackson being that type on Cincinnati's offensive side of the ball. Gunther on the defensive side of the football is exotic with his pressures and blitzes. And so you never know who may drop out a line of scrimmage and give you zone pressure.
Trey Kirkpatrick getting tangled up with Brian Quick, and it's incomplete. The Rams will punt it.
And this is simply when offensive coaches say, on the perimeter, you have to win one-on-one. Well, guess what? Brian Quick did not win one-on-one. Trey Kirkpatrick did. That's all it was a one-on-one play to the outside. Who's going to win the play? Trey Kirkpatrick did for Cincinnati.
Becker, a low line drive punt, a good one. Chasing Brandon Tate back to the 14-yard line. Tate had a big return, nullified by a penalty last week in Arizona. This one up to the 28-yard line. Friday night, the LaSalle Lancers, the defending Ohio Division II state champions, outscored Perrysburg 35-7. Coach Jim Hilbert's team will look to try and make it back-to-back state titles Friday night at the Horseshoe in Columbus. And we thank Joe Danneman and Jeremy Roush at Fox 19 here in Cincinnati for that video. First down into the hands of Giovanni Bernard, and this is what we were talking about a moment ago. Bernard inside the 20 fumbles the football, and it looked like a Bengal was there to cover it up. Was that Eifert? Yes, it is. Roberson appeared to strip it away.
He was conscious of it, Bernard, though. If you watch him on the play, he puts the ball up in front of him. But that St. Louis defense is just relentless of attacking the ball. Watch right here. He'll go and protect the ball when he feels the guy's behind him. Right there. See how he's covering it up, putting it in front of him? That's what you're supposed to do. Carry the ball in front of him. But some way, somehow, that St. Louis defense is relentless of going after the ball.
Looked like Rodney McLeod, 23, popped it free, but great hustle following the ball by Cincinnati.
Jeremy Hill inside the 20, down to the 16-yard line.
You know what this was like to me? Okay, it was Marcus Roberson, 47, who popped it free. And then Eifert comes up with the ball. It reminded me of when we were playing basketball and your coaches always said follow the play when the guy had a breakaway. He might miss it.
That's right.
That's exactly what happened there. Just in case you continue to follow, you don't stop running. And Tyler Eifert got the ball back for Cincinnati after a nice play by Marcus Roberson.
That's what I'll be telling my team tomorrow night at practice.
A lot of layups in my hometown that didn't go in the coop.
Better believe that. Into the end zone. And it is a touchdown for A.J. Green. That drive didn't take long.
And after the big run, after the screen, Hugh Jackson, the offense coordinator, called a dagger call. Meaning, we've got him on the run, I'm going right for the throat and going to the end zone on the very next play. Nice job saying, hey, we've got it going our way. Let's put it to him. That's exactly what they did, going to their #1 target.
Well, they got the big play by Eifert to cover up that fumble by Bernard.
Where that hustle comes into play and helps out your team.
Mike Nugent, the point after. Eifert may have been shaken up on that play. Bengals getting the touchdown, second of the game for A.J. Green. 24-7 Cincinnati. Bengals trying to go to 9-2 on the year. A.J. Green, 5th time this season he's had more than 1 touchdown in a game. 41st such game of his career. Ties him with Eddie Brown for 4th most in Bengals history. Cunningham, 25-30, penalty flag down. Up to the 37-yard line, we wait on the penalty.
During the return, holding, return team, number 53. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
The big recovery, keeping the Bengal drive alive, leading to the touchdown. Dalton to Green. 6:52 to play in the 3rd quarter, and Jeff Fisher's Rams needing offense in bunches. Starting after the penalty from their own 10 and back in the hands of Tavon Austin, and why not? But that cannot be played any better by Carlos Dunlap.
That's exactly what Marvin Lewis talked about on that motion coming across to Tavon, how they got to go and bump it out a little bit.
NFL Play 60, the NFL's movement for a more active generation, encourages fans to get moving. Play for 60 minutes every day. Run, jump, race to Super Bowl 50 with free NFL Play 60 app. Download today.
Tom, if you were in that, how far do you think you could throw the ball? How far?
Not very far.
20 yards?
Yeah, 20.
30?
No.
No? Okay, all right. Listen, know your limitations. Very good.
A man's got to know his limitations, T, and I have a lot of them, and I'm familiar with every single one of them. Now, they're trying to make anything happen here with Austin, and this is a very, very good Bengal defense. They've had the one big play, and that's it.
And Tony, when we were talking with Jeff Fisher, I asked him about his input into the offense. Where is he now? How much? And he said, I'm just in a stage of encouraging these guys right now. They're trying their hardest to make something happen. All the offensive line shuffles, you know, the loss of players. It's tough to make things happen. Remember, Stedman Bailey's gone now. It's tough.
Gurley has 7 rushing attempts for 13 yards. And Foles throws on the run, intercepted. And dancing into the end zone is Leon Hall.
So they can encourage all they want, but they have to get some production. And Nick Foles, when he starts to move out of the pocket, he's trying to come all the way back across field to Bradley Marquez.
And he had some green in front of him, too, to run a little bit to try and get close to that first down marker.
That's such a low percentage throw to begin with, but when you're down 24-7 trying to make something happen, sometimes you force yourself into yet another error.
Leon Hall with the 3rd most interceptions in Bengals franchise history. He now has picks in back-to-back weeks. A scoring interception this time for Hall, and the route is on in Cincinnati. 31-7 Bengals, 5:20 to play in the 3rd quarter. Been such a good Rams defense this entire year. But they have surrendered already 316 yards of offense. We have a long way to go.
It's hard when you're on the field a lot.
Yep.
Offense isn't giving you much. You're playing a bad field position. It's tough. Feel for those defenders in St. Louis. And guys, there's a mistake by Cincinnati. Excellent play by Jenkins. but St. Louis can't do anything with it. Now here's a mistake by Cincinnati, Tony, and Tyler Eifert picks up the football, and then they pay it off to A.J. Green.
Yeah, it's you know, all of a sudden you have a switch of momentum going to St. Louis, and Cincinnati never gave up. They just kept fighting and fighting, and you saw the fumble recover by Eifert, and it was just, you know, things just aren't going the right way for St. Louis right now.
I know for some Cincinnati fans, when Marvin Lewis says, I like this team because they respond well to adversity, they don't want to buy it because of the past playoff issues. But we've seen today, anytime they've had any small adversity, they've responded to it very well.
Early, a 3, maybe 4-yard game. Let's check in back in Los Angeles with Mike Hill.
Red Heart Chiefs coming back against the Bills. Alex Smith finding Travis Kelce for the 15-yard score, making it 21-16 Chiefs. And then the dance moves. I think he learned that from you, Charles Davis. Back to you and Tom.
I don't know about that. Kelce's from right here in Cincinnati. He might have learned it somewhere around these parts.
That looks like something from the Natty.
The Natty, like it.
Straight from the Natty, Travis Kelce. How about those Kelce brothers?
Oh, yeah.
One in Philadelphia, holding down the middle at a Pro Bowl level.
Right.
Another one's a Pro Bowl level tight end in Kansas City.
And then they have the brothers also in the NFL from here. The Selleck brothers.
Not so bad, huh?
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
3rd down and 3. That had no chance from the beginning. Wallace Gilberry went unblocked. And the Rams will punt it.
Well, he just flashed through there, didn't he? And he was right in the face of Nick Foles. And he had to get rid of that fast and blind. Because I think Gilberry, watch Gilberry here, right at the quarterback. Okay? I think he just obscures his vision. There's nothing there. He had to get rid of it. And look at Maluga, who was on the play anyway. Cincinnati playing with extreme confidence on defense.
Becker puts a right foot on it. Brandon Tate from the 25-yard line. And he is chased down 3 yards later. Well, it's all down to one game for a chance in that college football playoff. Michigan State and Iowa. 5th-ranked Spartans, 4th-ranked Hawkeyes. Coverage begins Saturday, 7 o'clock from Indianapolis, Indiana, Naptown, only on Fox.
How about that Fox game last night, guys? Notre Dame.
Oh, man, that was
a killer.
Some game, wasn't it?
That was a death knell in my house, my bride being a Golden Dome alumnus.
And look at this formation here. We're getting out of Cincinnati. Now they're bringing it back inside. They put a lot of things on tape for teams to have to prepare for.
Yep, eat up that practice time of your opponent.
Back to the ground with Jeremy Hill, who's had a very nice game today. 13 rushes, closing in on 70 yards. And that would be a season high for Jeremy Hill.
He's still finding the end zone. He's just not giving the production he got. Because remember, last year it was, what, 1,124 yards and 9 touchdowns. He had 7 touchdowns coming into today, 6 of them on the ground. But he wasn't getting the yardage.
Sanu in motion, but they stay for the run game, and that means Jeremy Hill to the 37 and brings up, we'll call it 3rd down and a yard and a half.
You know, Tom, talking about your wife being a Notre Dame fan, I want to thank you. You know, everybody, Tom hosted us a beautiful party last night. Great food, entertainment. I mean, the whole 9 yards. We couldn't get the fire started, but
well, thanks for reminding me of that.
Really appreciate it from you, Polly, your wife, your kids, Ella and Luke, 2 great kids, too, very respectful. And I appreciate you going and doing that for our whole crew.
Well,
there,
thank
Tom.
you. I'm just glad you're feeling better today, because you were walking around in a lot of pain last night. We're not sure you were going to be able to answer the bell, and there is my far better half.
Yes, your beautiful
Polly,
bride, and look at your
Ella,
children there.
Son Luke all painted up today.
Look at that. Look at the kids right there, huh?
Mother-in-law Martha. You always have to mention the mother-in-law, T.
Yep, across the street. We parked in our driveway, which is very nice. Didn't have to walk too far in the rain.
What was really nice, she didn't come out on her front porch and tell you to get off of her lawn.
Exactly.
No, she leaves that to me. She throws me off for a walk.
Oh, and the dog too, right?
Two of them. Yeah, they're doing good. Austin back to the 10, and he's up across the 15-yard line. 31-7, Bengals in front. Penalty flag all the way back to the line of scrimmage. We're being told, by the way, from the Bengals sideline that Tyler Eifert suffered a stinger.
Holding return team number 50 during the kick. It's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
And Eifert's return doubtful. I'm sure they just want to make sure leading 31-7.
Yeah.
Why risk it?
If it's a 10-7 game, he'd be back out there playing, I'm sure. And this is him. Look at him in the run game, blocking on James Laurinaitis and allowing extra yardage for his running back, Jeremy Hill. Then he goes in and does what he normally does, catches touchdown pass in the red zone. How about this hustle? Following the play, Gio Bernard's fumble. Tyler Eifert recovered it. One play later, A.J. Green caught a touchdown pass. So Tyler Eifert has figured into this game in a huge way yet again for Cincinnati.
That's the play of the game, I think.
I mean, it's just the overall hustle that coaches always tell you to follow the ball downfield. You never know when you have to throw another block. And sometimes you become the hands team downfield, and Eifert did exactly that.
That's right. You can never be wrong being around the ball.
Cole steps up, throws, and it's batted down again by Dre Kirkpatrick. A lot of very, very important games around the National Football League today. New York Jets leading Miami 21-0. Two teams trying to get into the AFC playoffs. Set at the screen to Trey Mason. Boy, he took a shot from Kirkpatrick. Let's go back to Los Angeles and visit with Mike Hill.
All right, we got the Colts, we got the Bengals. Colts coming back. Matt Hasselbeck 3-0 as a starting quarterback this year. T.Y. Hilton with the touchdown and even better celebration. Colts regained that lead 16-12 in the third. Tom, Charles, back to you.
I'll tell you what, the dancing has gotten better each week. It's almost like each guy saying, I've seen you, check out mine. And the Colts in the big game with the Buccaneers.
The resurgent Buccaneers.
Very much so. They take care of the football. They can play.
Third down at 3. That's a nice play made by the veteran Britt. Lee Kirkpatrick was looking for offensive pass interference, and that's a flag that does not come.
As well timed, wasn't it? Nick Foles saw the back of Dre Kirkpatrick's head. Watch 27 in black. He gets his back to the quarterback, so he can't find the ball. So Nick Foles throws it behind him and knows that his receiver can see back towards him and adjust to the football. Well timed out.
Again, Mason out of the backfield. Nice move to shake a couple of tacklers, and that's a gain of 11 on first down for Mason. Hey, remember, he was their leading rusher as a rookie a season ago. But ever since the arrival of Todd Gurley, he's taken a back seat. In fact, he's active this week after missing a team plane last week.
Been a frustrating year for a guy who came in thinking he was going to be the guy, and then he saw the draft choice of Gurley, and Gurley actually recovered from the knee injury faster than what people expected as well.
That couldn't have been smothered any better than it was by Domata Peko.
Peko sniffed that one out.
Penalty flag is down.
He didn't just sniff it, Tony. He inhaled that one.
Yeah, he did. He got a little shake to him too there at the end there, a little nice little dance.
Yeah, he's trying to get him to name it. He's trying to get a name for it. I'm staying out of it.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 55. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Well, that's the first time we've called the name today of Vontez Perfect.
And what he did was, as the tackle was being made, he leveled, I think, Cody Wickman. I thought it was. Let's see. Watch behind the play. Right there. And that's what they call. Excuse me, it was Tim Barnes, the center.
Now, we talked about it in the open. You can't have dumb penalties like that. Right now, obviously, you know, with the score the way it is, it doesn't really affect it too much, 31-7. But You can't have those penalties. They're going to come back to haunt you.
The end of the third quarter. The NFL on Fox continues after a word from your local Fox station. Rams have had the football 8 possessions, this being their 9th. They have punted 7 of the 9. 6 of the 8, I beg your pardon, this being the 9th. An interception, and they have the 1 touchdown. They're down 31-7. Certainly one of the big stories in the game today is what the Bengal defense, led by Atkins, has done to Gurley. 8 rushing attempts, 17 yards.
Remember that 4-game stretch where he averaged 142 yards rushing? This is going to be the 4th straight game, it appears, without a 100-yard game from him.
There's another interception. And this time it's the strong safety, George Iloka. Another rough day back into the starting lineup for Foles. Well, the bridge from Ohio into the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And there'll be a lot of dancing going on at the end of the day today in the greater Cincinnati area. Their Bengals about to end a very modest 2-game losing streak.
And on the last play, this is Chris Carter doing a pass rush against Greg Robinson, the #2 pick in the draft last year, the left tackle. Continues to struggle in pass protection. They had Kenny Britt open on a stop and go. But guess what? Because of the pressure, Nick Foles throws the ball too far inside. Iloka comes down with the interception. But Greg Robinson, top of the show, we talked about they needed him to play well because of an unsettled line. And that was a tough one there.
A drop by Giovanni Bernard on first down. Dalton, conversely, 16 of 21, 208 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Third down and 9, fake it one way, come back the other way. And getting a rare chance with Eifert out of the game is Tyler Croft. 3rd-round pick, a rookie out of Rutgers, and he just fell down.
I think the excitement of the first catch of his career
Yes.
knocked him over. Because if he caught it, he's like, is that a pass for me? And Andy Dalton may tell him, not anymore.
He'll remember that one for a long time. He'll remember that one.
So will his teammates, right?
Yeah. On Monday.
Oh, film would be something on that one.
I wonder if it's going to last that long till Monday. Somebody's got to be giving it to him. Bengals are giving it to the Rams. 13:04 to go. Screen to Gurley. Spins away from 1 tackle, and a nice gain on first down. A pickup of 12. Falling down in his first career reception.
And we did speculate he was going to get something from the guys, wasn't he?
Yeah, on Monday, but that didn't happen. It happened right now. Look at all these smiles.
Look at these guys. Look at them. And Jeremy Hill followed him over to give him some more.
They're busting his chops as soon as he got to the sideline. Didn't even take till Monday, guys. Man.
Well, it didn't look like much of anything, but Gurley very slow to get up and needing help getting back to the Rams sideline.
He plays hard, doesn't he?
Well, he sure. What an incredible story. Young man who tore his ACL last year in Georgia. Rams still took him in the first round. Catch by Cook, flag down at the 30-yard line. Didn't get his first start. Was inactive the first 2 games. Played in week 3. And in week 4, we were there when he broke loose in Arizona.
Defense number 57. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a first down.
They got Vinny Ray for a hold. And this was the play where Todd Gurley, look at him spinning, still trying to make things happen. He goes down hard, but he's back in the game.
Toughness right there. That's why Jeff Fisher drafted him.
Guys, we're just barely over a year since he tore his ACL.
Breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, and takes a negative into a positive. That'll be a gain of close to 4 on first down.
Chris Carter had a full-on shot, Tony. And Gurley, really, I don't think he even saw it and ran through it. Watch Carter here.
I mean, watch Gurley just keep those legs moving. They're never on the ground stopped.
His active feet, doesn't he? Really active.
Austin able to get out of one tackle, but staying with it was Dre Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick's a guy that looks like he's really starting to live up to all the billing coming out of Alabama. He did not start his first 2 years in the league. Late in the year last year after an injury to Adam Jones, he came in a big night game against Denver. Got his first career interception against Peyton Manning, returned it for a touchdown, and his career is starting to blossom ever since. Flag down on a catch by Austin.
With the reception. There is a penalty flag on the field.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Third down.
Big Greg Robinson out of Auburn. He had 3 holding penalties against him against Chicago. 4 over a 2-game span. Here's the big fella here trying to pass protect for Nick Foles. And see, he gets see how he wraps him. You can't see it from that side, but the other, there it is.
That's a tackle.
Wrap and a takedown against Wallace Gilberry.
Sometimes you can get away with that.
Unfortunately, that action was way out in the open, wasn't it? You need that pile of humanity to get that paw and pull a guy down.
Pump fake. And Austin left alone. And he's to the 27-yard line.
Now, Austin was supposed to be the decoy there. He's supposed to be the guy that they pump fake short and slip a guy downfield, but they didn't buy that at all. So he pump faked to him, looked up, nothing doing, and this came back to him and said, here, take it, you're wide open. Tough times for Jeff Fisher. 4-3 at one point. Now slipping away.
4th down and 6. In and out of the hands of Kenny Britt. And the Bengals will take over on downs. Look inside our television truck underneath Paul Brown Stadium. Our producer Mark Titleman, our director Greg Scopatone. Ryan Hewitt, his second reception of the game on a first down. You know, we talk about Marvin Lewis and really the job he has done here. 13 years. Belichick, 16 years, 4 Super Bowl titles. Tom Coughlin, 12 years, a pair of Super Bowl wins. Marvin Lewis still in search of his first playoff win, and there's no debate. Brought it up the other day, and we talked to the Bengals about it. We talked to Hugh Jackson and Andy Dalton about it, about the proverbial elephant in the room. But Tony, I thought you brought up something earlier that is so true, and I think you have to be familiar really with Bengals football to know what an incredible job Lewis has done when he took over this franchise, getting from A to B. Now, can he get him B to C? We'll find out down the road. But this was a franchise, players were in trouble. They were losing year after year after year. You rarely ever read bad things about their players anymore, and they're winning a lot of games.
You know, I was with Marvin a couple of years prior to that. We won the Super Bowl in Baltimore. You know, when he came here, he had to make a lot of changes. That locker room was not up to par with exactly what he wanted here. I mean, every week you would read, you know, somebody's arrested, you know, everybody's, you know, some guy's doing something wrong, and all the problems. He had a long, you know, time to weed out all the problems that he had in the locker room, and then he finally got it dialed in, and then they started winning. And I think Marvin, you know, he's been successful here. He's been very successful. But, you know, when you get into the playoffs, it really, you know, it isn't the coaches. It's the players. You got to go out there. You got to play. You got to want to win. And I don't think, you know, they haven't won here in so long and haven't been in the playoffs and won in the playoffs that they need to go and find a way. And I think today is a great example of going and getting it done.
And I really think this Rams franchise could look at this Bengal franchise as to how to get it turned around. Because we brought up earlier, and Marvin was the first guy to give all the credit to the owner, Mike Brown. He said, look, I told him a number of things we needed to change. And ownership said, whatever you want to do. Because the Rams have been down for so long, and it really doesn't look like it's getting a lot better. And that's not a good sign. Jeremy Hill, who has 85 rushing yards in the game, limps off.
They're hoping that's just a bruise, because they started to get him back into form today. Aaron Donald, first guy there, goes down. Laurinaitis is helping tackle. No surprise there. The franchise's leader in tackles. James Laurinaitis passed Merlin Olsen earlier this year. And Jeremy Hill's going to get some attention.
Giovanni Bernard, a second down carry to the 37-yard line. And let's send it back for a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, Kansas City trying to win its 5th straight, holding on to the lead against Buffalo. LaShawn McCoy, 10-yard touchdown. They missed the 2-point conversion, and that's the difference right now in the third quarter. Tom and Charles, all of us in the studio loving Tony's hat right now on the sideline.
I'll let you borrow it, Kurt, one day. $10.
There you go. There's no doubt you got to love that hat.
Yeah, but Tony, he's got to pay you additional shipping and handling.
Absolutely,
correct?
absolutely. It was supposed to rain today a little bit. It rained yesterday a lot, and that came in very handy.
3rd and 3. And they throw it up there along the sideline to Jones, incomplete. Bengals are going to go for it on 4th down. It's kind of that tweener spot on the field where maybe too long for a field goal, and why punt?
And this is one you work on because you may need something later on in your season. And you try something out that you work on. Rex Burkhead has come into the game, number 33, and they utilize him on almost jet sweep type things like Tavon Austin has run. And he can also run in the slot and be a split receiver. He's at the top here.
Well, they better hurry if they're going to get it off, and they're going to have to call a timeout. Play clock down to 2. 4th down for the Bengals when we come back. Bengals with a 4th down and 3 at the Rams 36-yard line. Dalton. Burkhead makes a catch but short of a 1st down, and that's all for the Bengals on this possession.
Just trying something. They're going to just run him inside with guys blocking out here, inside screen. See, Whitworth, 77, tried to get there, but a nice job by the Rams feeling the play and getting underneath the blocks. James Laurinaitis, the first guy there, looked like Mark Barron over the top.
Well, we were talking about Marvin Lewis and the job he has done with the Bengals. Been to the playoffs 6 times, 5 of the last 6 years, including 4 in a row. This would be 5 in a row. On the other side, Jeff Fisher and the St. Louis Rams. Been frequently talked about this week. Is Fisher the right guy for this organization? What are they going to do about the quarterback position? Fisher, in 21 years as a coach, has had 6 seasons of over 500. Those were the 6 years he went to the playoffs in his 21 years as a head coach. They've not been in the playoffs since 2008. Talking about a Jeff Fisher coach team. He has not won a playoff game since 2003.
Was that the Super Bowl year? When they played
No, that was 3 years later.
3 years later. Okay. So it's been obviously a tough road, to put it mildly. And here in St. Louis, the focus is uncertainty. We talked about at the top of the show. Where will they play next year? And part of the reason Jeff Fisher may be in this spot right now is he's guided a team from one city to another. Actually, he did it 2 cities first, taking Houston, the Oilers, first to Memphis, and then to Nashville, where they're now the Tennessee Titans. So he has experience in this if indeed St. Louis is making that move. The other part is quarterback. I think we showed a graphic up there before. Was it 17 different starting quarterbacks at a certain point? Well, since 2003, the starting quarterbacks in St. Louis, that list is just, I don't know if we don't know if we have enough screen for it. I mean, this is a list that goes on about different guys since Kurt Warner was in the helm in St. Louis. And the success rate, the best guy is a guy by the name of Jamie Martin, who was 4-1 as a starting quarterback in St. Louis. And that's just where your struggles are. Because right now, Nick Foles got a new contract coming in off the trade. Is he really the guy? You know, they already have benched him once this year. Case Keenum came in for 1 game, got hurt, concussion. That's why Nick Foles is starting this game. Is he really the guy? They gave him a contract that said they were committed to him. But is that really the case? And Sean Mannion, they drafted in the 3rd round last year out of Oregon State. Today's his first game active and up in case he has to play.
Oh, big hit delivered by Ray Maualuga on Trey Mason.
And to put a count, and you're going to see the big tackle here by Maualuga. See Trey Mason coming back inside, and Maualuga does what he does best, which is fire off and smack someone.
Trey Mason got some moves, guys. Watching him down here in the end zone, I'll tell you what, he makes some great cuts. Very explosive also.
Worked very hard in the offseason, Tony, on his speed and quickness. And then Todd Gurley showed up. Made things tough on him.
Good 1-2 punch, though. Gurley and Mason.
Well, Mason, again, is a rookie out of Auburn last year. Carried for nearly 800 yards, led the Rams. And now really just a forgotten man, Kenny Britt, inside the 21st down Rams. Clock under 4 minutes to go.
And you know, one other thing, guys, we keep talking about the quarterback and this and that. How about those veteran guys who are big-time players who've had to go through this? A James Laurinaitis, a Chris Long, who have committed. They do all the right things. They do all the extras. And there's no payoff in wins and losses for them. Almost intercepted. There's Chris Long, 91. James Laurinaitis. And we talked to James Laurinaitis about this. I was like, how do you do it? You know, how do you keep it going? He said, you know, you learn how to be a professional. And being a professional means doing all the things you're supposed to, plus doing the extras and not letting up on them. Not letting losing get to you so that you skip weight workouts, so that you skip extra film sessions, so that you don't get your treatment the way you're supposed to.
You want to talk about a pro, 31-7, and he's over there figuring out.
Yes.
So the defense coordinator, how he gets better, how does he make the next play? That's a true professional.
The shovel pass fails to work as Foles is dropped by Carlos Dunlap.
And Tony, Carlos Dunlap, have you seen what I've seen today? A guy who does it in every phase. And the question on him has always been his motor, but not today.
Yeah, he's, tell you what, they've really circled him a little bit and tried to take him out of this game.
I mean, he's done it in the run game, the pass game. He's dropped into coverage at times. He's done it all.
Fourth down and 10.
I mean, look how tough that is for these guys. You're talking about 2 big-time players, 2 true pros, quality individuals who will play and compete. And these records are tough. I mean, that is tough for these guys. Yet you never hear about any discord with them or any let-up with them.
Laurinaitis is still over there. Looking at pictures, seeing what the offense is doing. Love to play with a guy like that.
delay a game on a fourth down and 10. Why in the world would that happen? You have 3 timeouts left. Why in the world would you have a delay of game penalty on a fourth down?
That's not one I can even come close to answering. I really can't.
I mean, that's just unexplainable.
I know they've had, so many different changes and this, that, and everything, but I just that one I don't have an answer for.
Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Thank you.
St. Louis was 4-3 the last time we saw them. They're about to lose their 4th in a row. Seattle at the 500 mark. And the Bengals a 2-game lead over the Steelers, who play in Seattle later this afternoon. 4th down and 15. Foles hit as he throws and nearly intercepted. Incomplete.
Nearly caught by Wes Welker.
Yep.
Ball was touched by the defender, and Wes Welker kept his eyes on it. Watch, he almost catches his ball.
It turned into a knuckleball, didn't it?
Yep.
Leon Hall tips it. Welker, there's what you're talking about, Tony.
Yeah.
Almost pulls it in with one arm. But the officials determined that he wasn't able to haul it in. Yeah, see it hitting the ground. And how about that? Wes Welker, they signed him. This is his 3rd game now. And I believe that's the first ball that was even in his area today.
Well, A.J. McCarron will come on and replace Andy Dalton. 5th round pick a year ago out of Alabama, leading the Crimson Tide to 3 straight national championship games and won a couple of them. He missed all of last year with a shoulder injury that occurred while still playing for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it hurt his off season. He didn't go to the Senior Bowl, hurt him going to the Combine, and getting ready. And he ended up getting drafted lower, way lower than what he expected, and I think what a lot of people expected. But he put in the rehab time. He's getting his body back together. And I can tell you that within the Bengals organization, they are really excited about A.J. McCarron and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, the question is, when do you ever get a chance to play? We know life is a backup quarterback, and nobody prays for the guy in front of you to get hurt. McCarron, for the first time, got to play in the preseason, looked very good. All right, Charles, we've seen the Bengals. Now it's 1 game, and against a Rams team that's down, and 2-minute warning coming up. When we come back, I want to ask you and Tony. Bengals stacking up against the rest of the AFC looking into December and January. Well, Bengal fans making their way out of Paul Brown Stadium. 31-7 lead in the 2-minute warning. A.J. McCarron taking over for Andy Dalton. He's going to get a chance to throw a pass. How about that? First completion in his NFL career. One of college basketball's best rivalries renewed right here on Fox. Syracuse, Georgetown. Boy, how many great ones do they have?
Oh, my goodness.
Boeheim v. Thompson.
Oh.
Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, only on Fox.
You remember when Georgetown went up there and beat Syracuse in the last game ever in Manley Fieldhouse? And I think Syracuse had like a 50-something, 60-something game home streak. And they went to Thompson after the game, Big John, and they said, well, Coach, he goes, Manley Fieldhouse is now officially closed. And you talk about igniting that bad boy.
It's good stuff, though.
Oh, they got after it up there now. And just think they're both in different conferences. Syracuse now in the ACC.
Our game produced by Mark Titleman, directed by Greg Scopatone. This is Wes Welker on the punt return. Our associate director, Alex Olson, and our broadcast associate, Jordan Wolf. A.J. Green, a pair of touchdown receptions today. Austin had a big 60-yard run. Leon Hall, his 3rd career interception return for a touchdown. I'd like to thank our audio mixer from Columbus, Ohio, Zach Mayer. And as always, up here in the booth, Mr. Tom Barbary and Mr. Scott Snyder, also a native of Upper Arlington, Ohio.
Upper Arlington, isn't that where Woody lived?
Where Woody lived, and it's where Jack Nicklaus is from. A lot of people think that Jack Nicklaus got his nickname the Golden Bear because of his golden locks and the way he looked. Where he went to high school, Upper Arlington, their nickname is the Upper Arlington Golden Bears.
There you go.
Thus the Golden Bear.
Love it. See that, T? We get a lot of good stuff up here.
A lot of information up there.
Yeah, well, it's another word for most of it.
But this is a Bengals team that I think is very good. I really do, Tom. I think they are very good.
In all aspects, special teams, offense, defense, they feed off each other.
And I know New England is the front runner in the AFC and deserve to be. But don't we marvel each and every week about how New England gets it done no matter how many guys aren't there and this, that, and everything? Does that actually catch up with them at the end of the year if they don't get guys back? We're so used to Belichick and that crew making it work. But you're talking about a Bengals team that fully loaded. I will say it without hyperbole. They can play with anyone. There's no doubt in my mind.
Nine and 2 with a win today. That'll tie for the best start in franchise history.
The bottom line, as we all know, guys, is when the playoffs roll around, that's all anyone is really locked in on with Cincinnati, which is unfortunate for them, but they know it.
And they told
us. They know it. It's like this, was it the old Star Trek? What was the old TV show? This is your mission should you choose to accept it.
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. They know. And they've chosen to accept it, and they're ready to go after it. Sean Mannion's in there firing now, huh?
Young man out of Oregon State. The backup today with Case Keenum out due to the concussion.
First game he's been active. His first NFL plays, Tony Siragusa. Does that run through your head ever when you hear that about guys when you first got out there and got it done?
I had so many butterflies in my stomach. I was like, I didn't know what to do. I think I got a penalty on my first play.
Are you kidding or are you being serious?
No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious. I think it was, a kickoff return. We were playing the Buffalo Bills. And the coach told me to stand on the line and just accept this guy when he comes to block me. The guy ran right at me. Steve Tasker. I'm sure you guys remember that.
Yes.
Sure. And I was like, he ran right into me. I was like, I'm just going to stand there? I said, Coach, I'm used to being the hammer, not the nail. So that ain't going to work out too good. So I got a holding penalty on that. And I think we got another kickoff return. Got another holding penalty. So I think I had 3 that week. Yeah.
You announced your presence with authority.
Final 18 seconds from Cincinnati, and the catch is made. Clock will continue to run, and that ought to do it. A timeout by the Rams. I want to thank all the men and women in uniform serving around the world in 175 countries aboard ships at sea on AFN, the American Forces Network. God bless you all. We can't thank you for your service. Hope you're enjoying the game. Sorry you're away from your families. Standing tall, strong, and proud for the United States of America. That will be the final play of the afternoon. Marvin Lewis and the Bengals go to 9-2. And we will return to Cincinnati. 31-7. Bengals win it after these messages.